magnetic fields around the circles. And you can see videos online of people going into these crop circles. Their hands start to get red. Things are happening to them.
The claim sounds simple at first. An advanced AI system decoded a crop circle cipher. But that isn't what happened. The machine did not translate a message into words. It confirmed that a message exists. That difference matters, because identifying structure is not the same as understanding meaning.
Microscopic metallic spheroids in around the circles.
And the system was built precisely to do both, trained to recognize patterns, extract logic, and map them into known frameworks. It had handled everything from ancient scripts to modern scientific data without hesitation. Then it encountered something that did not fit. The system wasn't failing. It was working exactly as designed.
Electronics often go wrong in crop circles. Some people will describe a strange tingling, headaches, or feeling rather.
It could see the structure, measure the precision, and confirm intentional organization. But when it tried to categorize it, there was nothing to attach it to. Because once you know something is trying to communicate, the next question becomes unavoidable. What is it saying? And why can't we understand it? The system that should have understood everything. The system was built as a comprehensive pattern recognition engine. The training dataset included ancient Mayan symbols, Tibetan mandalas, architectural blueprints, and high-resolution scientific visualizations, spanning thousands of years of human design and knowledge. There was effectively nothing within human visual culture it hadn't seen in some form.
These are complex geometric designs that would have taken people weeks to map out.
Early tests were clean, fast, and consistent. Even when data was incomplete, it produced reasonable approximations. That is what made the next step so unexpected. When the crop circle images were introduced, the system didn't approximate. It didn't guess. It paused. The alarm nobody recognized. The images weren't part of a formal experiment. They were added casually. Researchers wanted to see if the system would label them as human-made pranks. The first image triggered a delay. The second did the same.
No footprints leading up to it. There's no roads, no machinery, no evidence of any use of any kind of machinery.
By the third, the system produced a signal that had never appeared before. An entropy spike. This wasn't a routine alert. It was built for extreme cases. Situations where incoming data fell completely outside the boundaries of its training. In simple terms, the system was looking at something it could not map onto any known structure. The spikes continued. As more images were added, the system didn't stabilize. It stopped attempting classification altogether. This is not how such systems behave. They are designed to handle uncertainty and produce approximations. But here, there was no approximation, no fallback, no guess, just a consistent signal that something was beyond its scope. Uncategorizable. The team ruled out simple explanations. The images were clear, high resolution, and structurally precise, with symmetry, repetition, and measurable complexity. Still, the result didn't change. Every time, the system returned the same conclusion.
And these energy lines have intersection points. And on these intersection points are things like Stonehenge.
This does not belong to any known category. Then it displayed a word it wasn't designed to produce. Uncategorizable. The key detail was consistency. A malfunction produces random, inconsistent outputs. This system returned the same answer, clearly, every time: the interference pattern. The team isolated the images that triggered the strongest responses. One formation stood out immediately. When magnified, it resembled an interference pattern, the kind that forms when waves interact, creating regions of reinforcement and cancellation. These patterns follow precise mathematical rules.
A mystical energy. It's not a scientific energy. And where the lines intersect is where you see sites like Machu Picchu, Giza, Stonehenge, all these ancient sites.
Physicists can model them accurately, but they are not something a person would casually reproduce in a field. The AI began processing it as a signal rather than a visual pattern. The researchers tested for binary sequences, encryption formats, and known signal architectures. Nothing matched. The pattern behaved like data, but no data could be extracted from it. The compression test. Dr. Elena Krabsoff approached the problem computationally. Instead of trying to decode the pattern, she tested its compressibility. Compression works by removing redundancy. Simple patterns shrink significantly. That is the rule. When she ran the test, the file grew larger. She repeated the process with different algorithms. Each time, the same result. The system couldn't find redundancy. Instead, it generated additional data to process the existing structure, suggesting layers of complexity that did not repeat in any predictable way. Every element appeared to carry unique information. Something built this. At this point, the question shifted. The system wasn't flagging randomness. It was detecting intentional design. Random structures fail classification because they lack organization. These formations failed classification, despite being highly organized. The AI treated them the same way it treats encrypted signals, patterns designed to conceal meaning. Whatever created these formations was not accidental. It was deliberate. The field. The team visited one of the formations in person. From above, it looked like any other crop circle. Standing inside changed the perception entirely. The plants weren't broken. They were bent precisely and consistently at near identical angles. The structure was intact. That level of uniformity is difficult to achieve with force. Soil analysis revealed tiny crystalline formations consistent with exposure to high energy. Metallic microspheres were found, typically formed under extreme heat conditions. Magnetic tests showed localized shifts in alignment, indicators of external electromagnetic influence. There was no identifiable source for any of this. Whatever had occurred left evidence of its effects, but not its presence. The full data set. Over 200 crop circle images from different locations and time periods were analyzed together. Simpler formations were classified easily, but a significant portion behaved differently. The system created a new classification on its own. It wasn't programmed to do that. It generated a category to group the patterns it couldn't place anywhere else. This wasn't just a failure to classify. It was an adaptation. The system had reached the limits of its framework and extended it. And the patterns within this new category were consistent. Structural fingerprints. When the system compared formations across time and geography, it identified repeating structures. Design elements appeared across different continents and years, maintaining the same internal proportions. In one case, two formations from different regions were identical, except for rotation. The same structure, repositioned, suggesting replication. The timeline added another layer. Early formations were simple. Over time, complexity increased, incorporating advanced mathematical relationships. It resembled progression, almost as if the designs were evolving alongside our ability to recognize them. The cipher existed. The message remained inaccessible. The human cognition link. Selected patterns were shown to human subjects, while brain activity was monitored. Certain formations activated both analytical and emotional regions simultaneously. This isn't typical. Most stimuli trigger one or the other. Here, both responses occurred together, consistently. The AI described this as neurosymbolic messaging, information conveyed through structure rather than language. A system that interacts directly with pattern recognition mechanisms in the brain. That would explain why the AI struggles to decode it, and why humans respond to it without understanding why. The question that has no answer. At the end of the analysis, the AI had done everything it was designed to do. It confirmed structure, identified patterns, and expanded its classification system. But it could not identify the source. The existence of a cipher has been confirmed. The message remains unread. And that creates a different kind of question. Not just what the message says, but whether we are even meant to understand it yet.